epic music. Turning that down a little bit. And hello. Hello there. Oh, whoops. You know what? I need to hit record on things. Pardon my reach. Hope that worked. I hope this works. Looks like it worked. Welcome back. Today is a big day. We are tackling a project or a part of this adventure. We're going to be designing some dungeons today. We're going to be filling in kind of the meat and potatoes of our story with dungeon design. So let's get into that. Wrong one. This one. That's the button I was looking for. All right. When you have hotkeys and you don't remember what they are, it's a little embarrassing, but that's all right. Welcome back to the RPG Daily, everybody. I'm Richard Quiner. You know that because it's on the screen obnoxiously. We're going to be stepping into designing some dungeons, but first, let's talk about my homework from last time. So, I did not reorganize my screen. I am super casual today. It's Friday. Fridays are good. We're happy with Friday. I have a D&D game tonight, which I still need to prepare for, which I'm, not listening to my own advice because I did not prepare for that. So if I look at my homework here, I said flesh out NPCs with motivations and backstory. I did not do that. Oh, that's today, actually. Whoops. We're going to be creating the dungeon. We're going to work on the dungeon. I wanted to finish fleshing out the outline, which I did do somewhat. I wanted to create a skills challenge. I think I just have to figure out how to explain the skill challenge in a way for new dungeon masters to understand it. I did not create optional side quests, and I did not finish filling in Brewbuck with legendary actions and abilities. Basically, I did 30% of the homework. So that's below an F this time. That's sad. That just means I have to carry that over into the weekend, so I have those done by Monday. So like I've been doing, I like to create a new sheet for each live stream that I keep track of my homework on. So we're going to call this one, this is today's date, 2020, and we're going to go March challenge dungeons. Okay, because that's what I really want to focus on today is dungeons. I don't want to deal so much with character development. We'll save that for a little bit later. But I am going to copy over my homework so I have this there ready to go. I'm going to just type my homework. This just carries over, which is a little sad. It's a little funny. Skills challenge. I should put that it should be like explain for DM, optional side quest, and then legendary actions for Brewbuck. That's my leftover homework that I should have done sooner. Today we're gonna do dungeons, and let me just show you real quick what I've done on the outline. I have my March challenge outline. I'm treating this like a living document. So it's coming in and I'm just updating it with changes. There is a way in Google Docs to keep a backlog of changes, which I might do now that I'm starting to get a little more fleshed out. I'm going to start keeping backlogs. But basically, I have the Trouble in Crag's Breach, and I already see some changes I needed to make. The whole idea with the beginning chapter is they arrive, they start hearing the rumors from the miners. Maybe they can interact with a miner if they want to, or one of the prospectors, I should call them, because it's a little different than a mine. This is a prospecting area, not a mining area so much. So I don't know the name for it. Maybe it's the claims, because in prospecting you deal with claims, which are areas where individual prospectors are allowed to mine, and they usually come with a fee. Anyways, you have several prospectors. This is where I'm also going to introduce Brewbuck's niece, which I decided her name is going to be Ednis. It's actually a little weird to say. Ednis Goldgrip. She's Brewbuck's niece. She's going to be there just kind of asking for help from the miners. And if the party chooses to engage at this point in time, that is when they'll be able to pick up the main quest or the quest of find her uncle, right? Which might seem like a side quest at the beginning. It might seem like this is just the side quest, but it'll all tie together. Leaving there and seeing the miners leave, they'll have the chance to go visit the village, which is just going to be up the road. And this is going to be a small port. Like, it's going to be one port, one dock there, real tiny, and that is it. So then they're going to head into town. When they do head into town, they go to the inn where they meet the foreman, is what I'm calling him right now. I don't know the name of the person who runs these kind of areas. That's something I need to research, but I'm calling him a foreman because it's kind of a mining facility. They meet the foreman. They are basically asked to go investigate. The idea behind this is miners in this area are going to be superstitious. And the rumors are going to be like the mine is haunted, the area is haunted, there's ghosts, it's too dangerous, people have gone missing, this kind of thing, which the foreman, of course, he's not going to be from here. He's going to be like the business type, the more rich person who's paying these people to find the ore that they're looking for, the mithril. And so he's going to be looking for someone to solve the mystery, figure out why everyone is so superstitious about it. And of course the adventurers, since they're not from here, they're new, they are not as superstitious about the mine. They might be more willing to go in. They also get introduced to a guy named Chapo, who is the guide. He's going to be another miner prospector who is going to guide them into the mines. Whoops, I skipped over a section actually. This is all part of chapter 1. And then they're basically asked to go on it. Then they'll have another option of meeting Ednis. Well, she will introduce herself to them and kind of ask them to find her uncle, with the promise that she can't offer much, but her uncle will have something probably because he's been down there for so long. He probably has some gold or some ore, some mithril available. So they do that. Then they go head into the mine, which I now named Donar Son, which, looking up dwarven words, Donar is metal. It's like metal ore. And Son is good stone. So I'm kind of building it so it's like a good stone metal thing. I don't know if that works with dwarven language, grammar and phonetic, and how that works. Not phonetics, wasn't the word I was looking for. But I don't know. We'll figure that out. So then the party's going to the mine. They will get their first attack from Arctic hares on the way to the mine. They'll see the mine. They enter the dungeon. This is where we're going to be at today, doing this dungeon crawl. It's going to be different, though. And I'll explain why in just a minute. As they're going through the dungeon crawl, they will find another prospector who will invite them, hire them, ask them to help out finding his friend, Brewbuck, of course, who's gone missing and went deeper. There's only one direction he could have gone, so they go there. They're kind of following clues. Maybe as they enter, they'll get, a chance to find some clues, or they'll find some places where there might be little camps where the prospectors have been, stuff like that. And it all culminates when they find a mine shaft heading deeper down with the gear from the missing prospector, such as his climbing rope, pitoned to the rocks. When they descend into the lower mine shaft, we know that is where they go on to chapter 3, which I haven't named yet. This one, we're basically the same. I wasn't able to do a lot of fleshing out here, but this is where we're also going to deal with a dungeon crawl. This first scene will be just setting the scenario for it. They're in the Underdark. There's not a lot of light. Any light is kind of maybe bioluminescent fungus or creatures. They could be some glow-in-the-dark creatures that skitter around. I went to New Zealand once, and there are these type of, that's a good idea, cave worms. Let me just write this down. Cave worms. I went to New Zealand once, and there's these caves there that are deep underground and very cold and damp. And in these areas, these worms grow and kind of cling to the ceiling, and they're called worms, but I think they're like a plant. I don't remember. I'll have to do some more research on it. But we went on a little boat ride through it, and it was like no flash photography. You also had to be quiet. There was no being loud. You had to be careful. All this stuff. And the ceiling of the cave actually had like a blue glow. You could see it. They looked kind of like stars in that darkness. That could be some way that this lower area is lit. They could be a little brighter type of cave worms that stick to the ceiling. That's an idea. But then we're going to deal with building a small dungeon crawl that will follow the trail of Brewbuck, with some monsters, some more clues, which will end in. And this is what I'm going to call a 5-room dungeon. The idea of 5-room dungeons is you have, very simple, you have an entrance, you have 3 other rooms. One of them has the twist, and the end has the boss with a twist, preferably. That's kind of the idea here. Is it's just going to be a simple 5-room dungeon. They find a Brewbuck. It goes into the fight with Brewbuck and his situation, which we've known. And then, of course, the skills challenge. Now that you're caught up, let's talk about these dungeons a little bit. The underground dungeon is going to be a 5-room dungeon with some hazards, which I think that might be the first thing we build or come up with, is that. The other one, the above ground mine of Donar Son, I don't want it to be treated like a mine. I want to treat it like a village or a town. So this will be more like a mystery area, I guess. It could be how you explain it. It's not going to be so much go through the tunnels, find a thing, fight a beast. It'll be more like there are the claims, different points of interest around that. Perhaps Chapo goes with you. Perhaps he stays behind. He can give you a map of the claims. The foreman could have a map of the different claims, and then the party could go and they can travel between the different points of interest and interact with things that are there, kind of like going from house to house or building to building. That's what I'm thinking of for that one, because I think it can go a little quicker. It doesn't have to be a straight-up slog through enemies and chop them down, but it can still be decent, I think. I'm going to turn the music down a scotch. It's very epic. So, with that is what we're getting into. Let's talk about our 5-room dungeon. So I'm going to close this one, actually. 5-room dungeons, it's a pretty cool concept, actually. I do like the concept of 5-room dungeon. Hey, Rice Combo, welcome back, man. How is your work day going? I assume you're at work. Underdark Dungeon is what I'm writing in. It's going to be a 5-room style. Not a percentage room. 5-room. Underdark. So we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we already know the 5th room is going to be Brewbuck. That's when they find it. And the first one is going to be the cave entrance, or the entrance to the dungeon. What are we doing with this entrance? I know it's a mine shaft. I want it to be something a little dangerous, so the party would have to roll kind of to descend down into it. A narrow mine shaft would be better. So this just gives a little more skills. They have to use their abilities and roll for it a little bit. It might be... it could be a bit much. It could be too much rolling. They might just be able to go down, but that'll be up to the DM. Narrow mine shaft. They climb down. How far should they climb down? I like using big numbers. I always feel very cramped when I think of little numbers. So the narrow mine shaft is going to be 10 feet by 10 feet wide. Kind of a circular or a natural formation. Is it a natural or is it carved? Probably a natural formed. And I'm trying to think of like distances and how deep is the Underdark. That's that one. How deep is the Underdark? How deep is the Underdark? That's actually something. Between 1 and 10 miles. Interesting. I knew it was deep. The surface. The upper dark. First 3 miles below the surface. This was surface. We could do this in the upper dark. It doesn't have to be in the. I guess it counts as part of the underdark. Why is this playing? Stop playing a video website. First 3 miles below the surface is the. Yeah, it is really deep. I think I need to go deep. I think I need to. So maybe the first part of the mine is actually it is underground and it goes underground. But then the second mine, the mine shaft, maybe that does go down like. Ooh. Maybe they're not climbing. Maybe it's stairs, and it's like dangerous stairs. So there's like. Yeah, I like that idea. So it's ancient steps leading deeper down. So they're like carved in the stone. So it's like something's been here before. There's some reason this is here already. There could be some clues as to like the necromancy kind of thing or the lich kind of thing. Clues about the lich, possibly. I need to plug something in. I keep forgetting. We'll see if this actually works in a bit. I have to plug in a pin. I have a little drawing tablet here. That might work. It might not. We'll see. Come on. Work. There we go. Okay, so that can charge. Yeah. Clues about the lich. Maybe the stairs were made by the lich, and then Brewbuck found it. And then equipment. Brewbuck's equipment is strewn. Is kind of strewn about. And ends in a. So it descends about a mile. We'll say. At least a mile. Oh, I butchered that spelling so bad. 1 mile. This is why I like Google. Yeah, so I think that makes more sense of it's like, oh yeah, it goes down a long ways. And then it makes it easier for their escape. If it's like collapsing, they can try to run up the stairs and maybe something will happen. Descends 1 mile into the ground. At the bottom, we'll say there's a. It'll be like a room, just an open. Pitch black minus. Except for the worms on the ceiling. Right before E, except after C. So that'll be a little very, very, very dim light. It'll still count as like darkness, so dark vision will come into play here. On the ceiling. Those glowing worms could also hide an enemy. A monster could be hiding among the glowing worms. The worms stretch into the dungeon. On the sides, here's where it comes a little differently. This will be the first time we introduce the ore that they're actually here looking for. Is the, maybe in the other upper plane there's a little bit of mithril they can find here and there, like mithril from the miners. But down here you can have like a seam of it. Like if you've ever played, I guess Skyrim is a good one. Was it Skyrim? Yes, Skyrim. I just did this the other day. You could find places where they have like iron ore, and they're large chunks, and you can mine it out and collect it, and then you can go. What's it called? Refine it into something nice. Worms stretch into the dungeon. Along the walls and floor are seams of mithril ore. Boatloads of it. My coaster got stuck to my cup. So this would also be where I can describe the area better. The basics of the entire dungeon. So this is where you can describe where or what things look like, what kind of the stone material it is. Dungeon look. You know, I didn't even need to write all these other ones because it's going to just do it for me. So now we need to think of rooms. We need 3 rooms, 3 sets of clues, perhaps. It would be good to have a puzzle that they can unlock. That could be room 4, could be a puzzle. So I'm thinking we do 1 as the entrance, 2 as a combat scenario where maybe they have a little run-in with some denizens of the Underdark. 3 is a clue kind of session. Maybe there's something they can look at. I'm trying not to overload it with too much in the way of I just get so many notifications on my phone. I guess I'm popular, but they're not good ones. They're like spam callers. If 2 is combat, 3 could be, 3 would be a puzzle. I think that would make more sense because 3, like if this place was built by like a necromancer a long time ago, or a lich, they could have like a doorway that they have to open. And the door and then there could also be some creatures that are coming to get them. So the combat encounter could lead into an urgency. After the encounter ends, they could hear something much larger, much heavy, much bigger coming to get them, which could be something like what is it? Like an Umber Hulk, I think is one of them. Escape into room 3, which has the doorway to open. Must be hasty. And then number 4 is like you're inside the necromancer chamber, and that is when you get attacked by more zombies. More zombie fights. And then 5 is when you find Brewbuck. Yeah. Which also has the twist that, Brewbuck. This is it's going to be for levels like 1 res combo. That's the idea. Level 1. Simple. I'm trying to design it for people who really just get the basic rules, which is also why my creatures have to be basic rules or something I create. I want people to be able to play this or run this without having to spend anything on it, and they can just do it. That would be ideal to me. Yeah. I understand, though, sometimes new players will not quite get that they can't always win, and they should run away. Sometimes that is a concern, but maybe this could be a way, if I write something I might be able to write it in a way so the dungeon master can get that information to their players. As like if I can make this like a teaching thing, so dungeon master can get more comfortable with certain things, aspects of it, that might be good too. But I know like an Umber Hulk is way too powerful for a bunch of level 1s, which is why maybe that's the one they run away from. Or a gelatinous cube might be something they just have to run away from. Yeah, Umber Hulk is very beefy. So it's definitely something I have to consider in the writing of it and the encouraging the DMs. If Because I also don't want a whole bunch of first-time players to say, like, oh, we're going to take on the Umber Hulk, and then they all die. But if the puzzle... I think if the puzzle is simple enough, maybe that could work. Or it's not so much the... Maybe it doesn't need to be an urgent escape, but maybe they move into the next room, and the puzzle is also a trap. So... Because I want them to get in the idea of looking for traps, too, a little bit. So maybe the puzzle is a thing where, like, if they fail at it, someone gets hurt. Like, they have to put their hand in a hole in the wall and put something in there, and then if it's the wrong item, then they take a little bit of damage, and then they're like, oh, crap, well, that hurts. We don't want to get it wrong. That is another option. I'm going to dwell on that one a little bit. This would kind of be like the, you know, I'm having so many brain farts today. Is the Raiders of the Lost Ark with the cups and the Holy Grail? I know there's Temple of Doom. I'm Indiana Jones. Sorry, I'm thinking Indiana Jones when they have the cups and the guy drinks it and he's like, "You've chosen poorly," and his like the face melts and everything, like that kind of thing. More zombie fight. This zombie fight shouldn't be too hard, but it should make them question, like, why are there so many zombies? And then Brewbuck could also kind of intervene. If it's too tough, Brewbuck could come out and speak with them, but more likely he's going to be busy. So let's think about our pitch black cave walls are kind of a rough hewn. I think it's definitely going to be a man-made then. Or a man-made rough-hewn. Ancient steps. Down. Maybe they're hewn with magic. Because, like, if a necromancer had the, you know, move stone or something. Stone. Stone golems. There's one where you like control the stone, and maybe if a necromancer or a lich had that kind of ability, they could turn it into something. But now let's look at our creatures here. Again, I like to use my D&D Beyond to do all this. We're gonna do Underdark because that's where we are. And we're going to do challenge rating is going to be, we'll do 1/8 up to 1. Because 1 is going to be a relatively easy fight. And oh, I need to go also advanced. This is cool. I like this. You can just filter the sources on it as well. I do enjoy that. A bugbear is considered an Underdark creature. I don't want to deal with bugbears. Don't want to touch them too often. The Brewbuck is a Duergar, and there will be several. We can also go with Goblin, Great Ooze, Grimlock, Hobgoblin, Kobolds. No. We're in the Arctic, so we can't really deal with that. A Rust Monster. What is the Rust Monster exactly? I've heard of these before. Most dwarves rather face a squad of orcs than confront a single Rust Monster. Corrode metals, then gobble up the rust they create. Long tail and bony protrusions. What do you look like, Mr. Rust Monster? So they could... That actually makes pretty good sense in this case, where it's like a Rust Monster is down there eating the mithril. Excuse me. But then I would also feel like Brewbuck would have this thing killed as soon as possible when he can. It's only a 1/2 challenge rating, so it's not super strong, which is fine. It looks like a beetle. Does this burrow? Speed. No, it doesn't burrow. Corrodes non-magical ferrous metal objects can see within 5 feet. So it can actually mess up the armor of the adventurers. That's kind of fun. I'm going to sit on that one for a little bit. I like that, though. Let's keep looking. A violet fungus. Ooh. Okay. To lash out at prey. So they have feelers that come out and they can crawl along the cavern floors. Like they're just crawling along. It sprouts a new... Oh. That's kind of gross. Let's open up that one too, because I kind of dig that as well. A kind of fungus could work well in this area. That's kind of neat how it looks. It's also pretty weak. It's only a challenge rating 1/4, so you could put a couple of them against the party and see how that goes. That's it. I only got 2 pages of Underdark in that challenge rating. And these are, again, this is my first combat. I don't want to do something crazy, but I like the idea. If I do it so maybe there's a lot of fungus in growing, but why would plants grow? A diseased giant rat. I think that's a little too weak. Drow, of course. I don't want to have a drow, though. But maybe maybe the lich was a drow. Orcs, no. So I'm actually kind of torn. I'm torn between a rust monster or two in the first fight versus the violet fungus. Let's look at these. We're giving a really easy combat with the hares early on to get the players kind of into the combat mode at that point. I feel like maybe this has too long of a starting, like to get to a fight might take too long, but we'll see. Maybe we can throw a little fight at the beginning in the inn with the foreman. Maybe we can do that just to warm up the fighting instincts of the new players. So violet fungus would be a really quick fight. Armor class is a 5. It has blind sight. It can see, so 30 feet. It can see. False appearance. It's indistinguishable from ordinary fungus, so that makes it very hard to pick out if they're looking at it. It has a 1d4 rotting touch attacks, so you can roll a d4, see how many you get, and then you do that many attack. A 10-foot reach, that's pretty good, and it hits with a 1d8 necrotic damage. I kind of like that. And if they kill something, see, that's the other thing. This could be like maybe they've killed a lot of things under here. And so maybe there's like, 4 of these or 5 of these. We'll see on the encounter. I want to make it kind of so the hare encounter, the hare fight would be like a easy, almost a trivial encounter. And the violet fungus, the next one in the underground, could be kind of a medium encounter. Or no, this one could be like a hard encounter. Then we'll go to the zombies, which will be a medium to easy encounter. And then Brewbuck will be a more deadly encounter for the first level players. That's kind of the idea. Okay, I like the violet fungus. Let's look at the rust monster. It can find metal. It can rust metal. I really only have a paladin. What characters did I make? What characters did I make? I made a cleric and a paladin. Are really my only like metal armor wearing ones, but that could be very detrimental if he were to, melt their armor. That might seem too mean. Might be too mean. We'll find out. It has thick armor. So it has a 14 armor class, is pretty hard. I would probably only throw 2 of these at the party to make a kind of a simple fight. Well, actually, we're actually going to look at the encounter builder here on D&D Beyond. I'll show you that too. After dealing damage. Oh, that's mean. Oh, that is so mean. Any non-magical weapon made of metal that hits the rust monster corrodes. After dealing the damage, the weapon takes a permanent and cumulative -1 penalty to damage rolls. If the penalty drops to -5, the weapon is destroyed. Non-magical ammunition made of metal that hits the rust monster is destroyed after dealing damage. So, wow, that's mean. So you would have to take this out with magical means, or like that would be really rough. Ooh. Is that too complex for a first level group of first time players? Is that too much for something to throw at them? I don't know. They can bite, doing 5 piercing damage. Okay, that's standard. They only get 1 of those. They also have the antenna, which can corrode an object within 5 feet of it. If it's being worn, it has to be DC Dex saving throw at DC 13 to avoid the monster's touch. But then again, if it's armor, you get that permanent cumulative negative penalty to the armor class. Armor reduced to an AC of 10 or a shield that drops to a +0 bonus is destroyed. So you can take 2 of these touches with the shield and a couple with the armor before it's destroyed. If the object touch is metal weapon, it rusts in the rust metal. So it has that same effect. I'm so torn. I'm torn. We're going to make some encounters. Man. So I'm going to show you guys the encounter builder. This is a newer thing. It's in beta testing. It's neat. If you have some stuff, I think a subscription, you get access to the encounter builder. What is happening now? My fiance had some requests, which I'll have to do after the stream. The encounter builder. Let's take a look at this. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know why this has, I think that's a cookies message. We just hit create new and it pulls up. On the side here, you can see an area. It says encounter summary and has difficulty, total XP, adjusted XP. It starts you off. You can name your encounter, which in this case, I'm going to call this the Rust Monsters. Rust Monsters March Challenge. So I know why I'm building this. Number of character is going to be, you hit manage character. It has here a number of characters is 5, average party level. I have it set to 9 because of one of my adventure parties, but you can change this. So you can change it. I'm going to say average or number of characters is 4. Average party level is going to be 1. And then I click OK and just close it and it updates. This is also useful. Side note, if you go on here, you can add extra things. Like you can hit add character and pick different levels. I'm not going to do that. I also just hit over 800 subscribers on YouTube last night while I was sleeping. So that's where we're going to set it. Average number of characters 4, average party level 1. That's where we're going to set the baseline, and then we're going to find our Rust Monsters. Because I kind of have an idea of what I want to do, I'm just going to hit the Rust Monster. I can see its difficulty is pretty low just for 1. But if I hit add, you can see it changes it. Okay, easy. And then over here on the side, there's a plus and a minus. I can hit plus, and now it goes up to hard. So 2 Umber Hulks is actually going to, or 2 Rust Monsters is going to be considered a hard encounter for 4 level 1 players or characters. If I were to hit 3, that'd be considered deadly. I don't want to throw that at the characters right now. So I'm going to set this one as a hard. And then I can hit save encounter. It's very straightforward in this case. And then if I wanted to come back and run this, like if I was DMing, I could just hit run encounter and run it. But now I'm going to create another one, this time for the Violet Fungus, and create a new one. Again, 4 players, average level is 1, and I'm typing Violet Fungus. And here again, it will show me the character sheet. So look how this is. One of these violet fungus is nothing. It's trivial. They don't have a lot of hit points. They have 18 hit points, a really low armor class. But you go up to easy. 3 of these would be considered hard. 4 is considered deadly. So it also goes to the question is how many creatures will a new DM want to run? That's kind of the question here, I think. I think 3 violet funguses, if they are acting, and I can encourage them to act all in the same initiative turn or create different initiatives. Either one, it's fine. And I'm going to create this violet fungus. And it is, whoops, I want to spell it. I like capitals. March challenge. And then I can hit save. So I have that encounter saved. And we're going to do one more just because we're going to create our encounter with our zombie Arctic hare. Our undead, tiny undead, 1/8 challenge rating. How many of these does it take to make a easy or, a more dangerous challenge for our party? These things are fast. They have a decent amount of hit points. They're a little higher hit points than the other guys. Okay, so 1 is trivial. 2 is still trivial. 3 makes it easy. 4 makes it medium. I think 4 would be a decent amount, but for that one, since it's going to be such a simple, straightforward thing, I'm just going to do a 3 easy challenge or easy fight for it. For the characters, March challenge, and I'm going to save that encounter. Now I have to decide which one do I want to use. Do I want to use my violet fungus and deal with more, or do I want to use my rust monsters and deal with less, but have a little more mechanics in it? Honestly, if I were to flip a coin right now, I would want it to land for rust monster. So that is what we're doing. Rust monsters, it is. That's a little life hack. If you can't make a decision, decide you're going to flip a coin for it, and then when you flip, whatever decision you're thinking and hoping it's going to land on is your decision to make. Mithril, a combat encounter. I'm not going to make it lead into room 3. I like the idea of having the puzzle be a separate entity that's not leading from room 2, but it's going to be 2 rust monsters. And maybe it's like the party interrupts them eating. Eating the metal off of a corpse. Yes. Boom. Rust monsters. I want to skip because I am in the zone of figuring out encounters. I want to skip to the next one, the zombie kind of fight, which it'll be a mix. I think I'm going to be doing zombies and skeletons because I think they're both undeads. But there's a good way to do this. If we just hit create new, you have our same setting. We can add filters, right? So we can go in here and do undead, creature, undead. And we'll just put a Sararak, and we'll throw a Sararak at it. A source, we can go basic rules. Cool. I can set official or homebrew. It doesn't matter in that case. And then we can also change our challenge rating. We're going to drop this down to like the max challenge rating. We drop down to 1, and that really just, gives us very little to deal with. You have the zombie, you have a skeleton, and you have a ghoul. 3 very different types of things. I want to see what's up with these. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. What makes a ghoul? A ghoul versus a zombie and a skeleton. Insatiable hunger for humanoid flesh. So they like to eat things. They are from the abyss, it says. They eat flesh. Orcus uses ghouls with stronger dose of abyssal energy, making a ghast. So I don't think ghouls will work. They are strong, but I want Brewbuck to be the strong one. I want this fight to be a little less kick in the face. So we'll get rid of that one. The skeletons and zombies. So a skeleton is, what is it? Resistant to or vulnerable to bludgeoning, but immune to poison. The zombie has undead fortitude, which the party already encountered with the hares. Let's see how this can go. What if we do a mix? What if there's some zombies and there are some skeletons? Skeletons are lawful evil, which just means they have some sort of, maybe there's a code, maybe they're under control by the necromancer. So I'm going to make 2. They're both going to end up with the same amount for each one. So let's just see how many of these it takes. 3 creatures will make it a hard fight for level 1 adventures. I currently don't have it leveling up mid-session, but it might end out that this turns into like a 2-shot rice combo. Because I do know they're going to be getting a lot of XP. They're going to be getting quite a bit from their fighting. But I don't know if I want to throw that at a DM, you know. Yeah, the XP is pretty beefy, but I'm the type, I deal with milestone leveling. I don't bother counting XP a lot. I could include that. I could make a thing like, oh, do you want to level up in the middle? And then if they do level up, then I would have to include, you know, if you leveled up, here's what you do. I think I could write that in there. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't. I guess the hesitation is always for me in leveling in the middle of a session is always like, okay, you have spells you have to deal with as people are learning new spells. You have everyone's figuring something out. And I didn't want to have the DM waste the time for that. I think I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind because it's a good idea. And maybe if this turns out, like if I run this, and because I'm planning on doing a playtest early next week, and if I run it and it's like, oh, this is going to be like 6 hours of game, then I can say, oh, maybe it's supposed to be 2 sessions instead of 1, and level up in the middle. Like that kind of thing could work. Because realistically, they should level up after I want to say after a rust monster fight, they should have to level up right then. But they also would have to take a long rest if we go into like the rules of it all. But it's definitely something I'm going to keep in the back of my mind. I do like the suggestion. I like the idea. But let me ask you, if you when you run games, do you count the XP? Do you keep that in consideration, or do you go by milestones? That's something I'm wondering because everyone I know goes by milestones. I haven't met a DM here that uses XP, but I'm in a weird bubble, and I'll be honest, I'm in Los Angeles. It is the weirdest bubble of Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop gaming. Is my internet, did my stream just freeze? On the Dungeon Crawl campaign. Okay. So if you're doing a campaign where it is about the dungeon crawl, you'll use the XP. Yeah, oh yeah, like Mad Mage. That makes sense then. As I was saying though, LA is such a weird place for Dungeons and Dragons. Like, you have the streams, we have, Critical Role is in town, and the Maze Arcana is here, and dealing with, like, Girls Guts Glory and these kind of streams. Everyone uses milestones, and I've yet to play in a game where it's XP counting. Though now I'm actually curious. I kind of want to do that. Dungeon of the Mad Mage is something I want to play because eventually I would love to make a super dungeon. I think that would be the funnest. I think it would be a great challenge, like a year-long challenge of let's write a super dungeon in a year. I think that would be so cool, but baby steps to get there. Baby steps. We're going to start with a one-shot first, and then maybe next we'll do a super dungeon. No, I just want to start with a one-shot. Skeleton versus zombie, the age-old question. They're going to be the same because XP is 50 for each one. So 3 of them will be hard, 2 of them is easy. Right, that's exactly it. I cut corners wherever I can when running an adventure. Like, I started a new rule with one of my groups. I said, okay, you guys keep track of the damage on the enemies. So all I have to do is ask them how much damage an enemy has taken, and then they tell me, and I tell them if it dies or not. I don't have to do the math in my head. That was like, I don't remember who suggested it. I want to say it was Colville had suggested that in one of his videos, and I started using that one. It was a great idea. Best thing ever. I'm going to do this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 1 zombie, 2 skeletons. Is this too much? Is that too hard of a fight? Really? Armor class is 13. That's going to be... An armor class is 8 on a zombie. They're going to take hits real fast. Because there's only 1 zombie. They only have to deal with 1 undead fortitude. Oh, has it worked? Oh, man. Here's the thing about the combat tracker. And I'll show you my problem, and maybe you can answer this. I think I'm going to go with this, though. I do like these 1 zombie and 2 skeletons because it's like one's maybe a little better. Because if you could tell me how this works, that will change my game tonight. So if I go, save, to my encounters, and I have some where I have like my bounty hunters. I had 4 monsters here, right? And I had 5 players level 9 average. So I come in here, and I'm cool with auto-rolling initiative. How do I change the names? That's the most annoying part for me, is I can't name my player. I guess I could go into the encounter. Oh, you know what? I think that's it. Sorry, this is... we're going to do a tangent here, and we're going to figure this out. If I go in here, and I go edit the encounter, and I change manage this to, like, nobody, would this work? And then I hit save. And then I go to the run the encounter, and I go manual entry, and I add player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, all capitals for some reason, and I add those. That counts it as a monster for some reason. And then I can change their initiatives here. I just want to be able to name my players. What is the preset? So let me go. So that was completely wrong. I do have a campaign set up. Oh, great. Okay. But my campaign has so many... Oh. What? What? Wait, what? You can do that? Okay. We're going to do that. I'm going to go here. I'm going to edit. Manage characters. Preset. Oh, there it is. Okay. But here's my problem. Oh, then I can pick. Can I pick? Because my players made so many characters. Oh, I can hide the characters, so I can hide them. Hide. And is that changing the number? Yes! Oh, man, you just... Oh, hell yeah. Now I'm gonna... Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Dude. This just changed it. This changes everything. Yes, one of my players made a character named Jesus Christ. Hide. Oh, my players love playing. Like, and they love making new characters, which is really annoying. Oh, Neelok's not in the campaign right now. So I did that. 7 characters. Average level is 9. It does it for me. Dude. What? So then I save the encounter. Then if I hit run encounter. Oh, dude. Dude. That's awesome. That just changed it. That changed it. I was kind of annoyed with it because I've used Kobold Fight Club and I like Kobold Fight Club. But, oh, man. Oh, man. Now they're all here. And if I just hit... They gotta roll their initiative. Oh, dude. Nice. 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 Okay. That changes my entire outlook on the encounter builder and the combat tracker. That makes it so much better. Way, way, way better. Okay. Nice. I'm probably going to highlight that chunk and have that as a standalone video. So, Rust Monsters is the fight I'm doing. Number 4 is kind of be the Undead Guards, we'll call them. Undead Guardians, and it's going to be 1 zombie, 2 skeletons. Yeah, so Rust Monsters. I'm trying to keep back on track. I'm trying to limit my live stream, and I got an hour. Yes. That's cool. You can tell I'm so happy that you explained that, and now I know. Oh, man, that's dope. Okay, and then Brewbuck is going to be his own thing. It is revealed that he has revealed that he is the source of the problem. You know what I need? You know what this really needs? This needs like a red herring. This needs something that the party's going to be like, oh, snap. Like, I don't want the party to think that Brewbuck is actually dead, or to think that there's a different necromancer down here that is not the miner. Oh, I need a red herring early on. In the puzzle, I think there needs to be something that will just kind of throw them off so there's actually a twist. Or it could be in the other area. I just really need some kind of... make the twist a little more twisty, you know? So the puzzle trap in the doorway. So there's this type of puzzle that I enjoyed when I ran it for some players not long ago. And it is you have a statue and you have to feed it. And you have to pick the right item for the right statue, and then when you kind of put the right item in the statue, then it opens the door or opens the pathway. I used that a couple times with like a poem or some clues, and I think that could fit in here. I could use it with the same theme of the mine and the ore. I could have statues of rust monsters. Oh, yeah. Yeah, or the drow. It could be in, like... Does drow speak... what language does drow speak? Elven? Elvish? I guess they're an elf, right? I like that if it's written in the language of the elf. Wait, did it start with the drow? No. Darkness of the drow. I think it is always funny to me. It is elven and undercommon? Okay. It's always funny to me that, like, they say how evil the Drow are, and they are. And we read the books; they're pretty messed up, right? But then they made Drizzt, as a character. R.A. Salvatore did that, and then everyone wants to play a Drow, and everyone is the exception to the rule. There is no player character who has an evil, straight up evil Drow. They're always the exception. They're always the one where, like, oh, I cast off my thing. They're basically playing Drizzt, but it happens even with players who don't know who he is and don't know the character. So I'm always feeling like they just need to take that out of the thing and be like, yeah, Drow are generally evil, but there are lots of people, lots of Drow that have shrugged off the darkness. But there's the place here were not for would be universally reviled. One renowned exception, that's Drizzt. One Drow at least broke the mold. Drizzt Do'Urden, Ranger of the North. Oh, did they? I actually don't watch Critical Role. I've used Drow excessively in my campaigns also as like kind of a neutral party. They're not super evil. They're just neutral. I don't watch Critical Role that much because I fell behind, and then it was too daunting of a task to catch up, and so I stopped. And then I heard they stopped doing the recaps. I was going through the recaps, and then someone's like, "Oh, they stopped doing the recaps," and so I was like, "Well, that goes my viewing." Okay, so the puzzle is going to be written in Elven. Elvish or Elven? Elf traits. Elvish. It'll be written in Elvish. Oh, they're just in written form. Oh, those are the ones on D&D Beyond, right? Yeah. Or are they on their own website? But it will also, I'm also going to keep with the theme, because it's a simple puzzle that's really easy to do, and it's going to be 3 statues of one Drow, one Duergar, one Rust monster. This might be completely stupid. One Rust monster, one Drow, one Duergar statues. Then a table of metal ore of different types. The party must put the correct ore in the correct socket. If they put in the wrong one, which I think like 2 of them, if 2 of the clues are really simple, like straightforward to understand, and then one is, this thing is always in the way, and then one is a little more ambiguous, then they have a chance of actually like putting in the wrong ore and getting injured a little bit. They take, and it's just going to be a 1d4 piercing damage as their hand is stabbed inside the statue. Okay, so let's look at this simple 5-room dungeon. We have the mine shaft goes down underneath the ground. It's into the cavern where there's glowing worms on the ceilings. I might remove that since I'm not using the fungus. I might remove the worms and just have it be, sparkling material, like a glint of metal shines off of whatever little light there is. If they have a torch or something, they go through, like down the pathway. They encounter some rust monsters who are eating them, and that causes a fight. 2 rust monsters is a tough enough fight for them. They continue on. There's a puzzle and a door that's carved in Elven with the statues of a drow, a Duergar, and a rust monster, who they then have to put in different ores into the different statue sockets to open the door. If they mess up, they get stabbed, and they have to do that. On the other side of the door, whoops, bonked my microphone. On the other side of the door is where they will encounter 1 zombie and 2 skeletons who will probably attack immediately. Once they vanquish those, it could just be a matter of going into another room and finding Brewbuck on the doing his thing. I think that's all right for now. For getting to a playtest, I think that's a decent information. I do need to fill out the puzzle doorway trap thing a little more to come up with the actual words and the minerals. I think the ore could be good to come up with. Like, steel is not an ore, right? So we would have iron. Gold is always a good one. Silver. What's the really expensive one? Not mithril is an ore, but that's what they're in there. I don't want to use that one. Platinum. I'm just gonna look up currencies. Maybe they have to put in a coin. Currency. And they're coins. They're not just ore, they're just coins. Gold, silver, copper, electrum, and platinum. We'll do all of it. Platinum. We'll do a copper one too. Copper, iron, gold, silver, electrum, and platinum are all the different ores or coins that they'll have that they can put into the mouth of the thing. I think by having it not be, if I take out iron, because these are used for coins. Iron's not a coin, really. Iron's a weapon thing. Yeah. They might want the electrum, which that's worth a lot. That's a big thing. I would really hate for them to have to give up an electrum. But I would also hate for a bunch of level 1 players to get an electrum coin. It would be worth a lot of money. Because isn't it something ridiculous? Currency rates. The things I Google. Oh, electrum is cheaper. I would hate for them to get a platinum. No, that's actually not terrible. So 1 platinum is 10 gold. 1 gold is 1 gold. Electrum is worth 2 gold? Oh no, you get 2 electrum make 1 gold. 10 silver make 1 gold. 1,000 copper make 1 platinum. That's actually not bad. That's not as terrible as I thought it is. Having a platinum piece, I thought electrum was more than gold in the exchange rate. But having a platinum piece wouldn't be too bad. It's only 10 gold. Yeah, that's not terrible at all. So, they keep whatever coin they don't use. Then I just need to come up with clues that would allude to these different things. And it could just be a box of coins sitting in the middle of the floor where they just okay, we need to dig through and find this. Yeah, I think that's a simple enough 5-room dungeon in the Underdark. You got zombies, you got rust monsters, which are Underdark creature. You have the main bad guys down there, and it's deep enough in the ground that the skill challenge to escape would have to be pretty intense. I like it. I dig it. Good. Man, I'm still thinking about the encounter builder. Oh man, that's so cool. I cannot wait. After this, I'm gonna basically do prep for a game tonight. That changes everything. That changes everything. Okay, let's see here. Next, we need to talk about the Upper Dark. We need to talk about just the mine, the Donar Son. That is what I chose to name it. Thanks to you, Rice Combo, I went with Donar, and I found Son on the Dwarven dictionary. It means good stone. So I think together, I think they sound cool. Or I could do Son Donar, which a little bit sounds like Son Goku. But either one, I think it has a good ring to it and kind of means, a good mine. It's a good place with ore. The mine is more like a town. It's more like a village. Town. Longer distances. Between claims. Claims are going to be the houses, essentially. Is the equivalent of a house. This is just for me to remember that. The claim is the equivalent of a house, or point of interest. And so I have to kind of treat this like a mystery. I want them to... What I really want the players to encounter here is they go and they gather some clues to figure out where Brewbuck has gone. But at the same time, they have the chance of having a random encounter show up, like some more rabbits could come through, or a wandering zombie or a wandering skeleton could show up. So this will have a random encounter table, which I'll have to explain the rules, explain how it will work, which will be, it won't be a common thing, but it'll be a situation like traveling from one place to another. The DM can roll, and if they get a nat 20, they can roll on the random encounter table. Something like that. So they have a chance of it happening, but it gives some different variety to the situation. Explain how it works and make the encounter table. Okay. Next. I need to think of point of interest. I got to think of it as a big area. I'm talking miles of underground area where people have found. It's going to kind of be like where people find the places where the mithril ore reaches the surface and they're able to mine it without going into the Underdark. But then, of course, that will help them uncover the one spot in like the center of town where there is the hatchway or the way down into the Underdark. That's kind of how I want to treat it. I thought of this last night when I was half asleep. I thought that would make it for a better mystery than a straight up dungeon crawl through the mines. How should it be formed? What would this look like in my brain? Asymmetrical, of course. Can't be too pretty. I'm going to use Wonder Draft to draw this out. And each claim will need to have its own name. And I think I want to have about 10 points of interest, but they don't need to go to all of them to find out where he is. This is a tough one. This is even harder because I'm making rules for myself, which is how I work. I like to make big rules and then narrow it down to the specifics. But this is also where I want them to have the chance to do some side quests if they want. I'm turning this into a campaign. But I gotta keep it short. I do want the option for players to do side quests. I want them to feel like maybe they don't have to finish the game in one sitting, but they can. This is really tough. This one is really hard. I think... Oh, right now, Rice Combo, I am trying to figure out how to do this, the mine, or like, I'm trying to come up with some point of interest, or things that could happen inside the mine that would lead the players to find the mine shaft that leads into the Underdark. Because, like, I don't know when you stepped away, but I mentioned I want to treat the upper level of the mine more like a town, where the players have places like points of interest they can go with a chance of random encounters rather than a straight up dungeon crawl room to clear it out. It would have a bigger distance, and at each claim or each point of interest they could potentially get clues as to where Brewbuck has gone. So one of them, I guess, one point of interest is going to be the Brewbuck claim, which he will own with his friend. I think that's a good place to start. Start backwards. Work backwards. Owns with his friend. Who is still there. The friend would still be there. Maybe the friend's not getting attacked because it's Brewbuck controlling everything. Friend is still there. I can't spell friend. Waiting for him to return. I think that... And maybe he thought he went home. This would be kind of like the bubble, like the Eye of the Storm, or the little safe haven where it's like, there's nothing bad happening at this point of interest. Everywhere else can have some messed up stuff. Like, you could find dead miners, dead, like, stuff like that. But here, at his claim where his friend is, nothing's happening. Then there is the... I want to have one that's like the... what's it called? Like a bloodbath. I want to have one spot where the players show up and it's just a bloodbath of dead prospectors, dead zombies. And then that's where they could find some clues, maybe, of the necromancy. I'm going to do this elven necromancer. I think that would work if, like, maybe the zombies have some... I'm pretty sure I have an elf in the party of my pre-mades. Maybe the zombies have some arrows or a bow that looks to be elven in nature. Or drow in nature. But then it's like, everyone's dead. And it's just like blood leaking. And the blood doesn't seep into the ground because it's stone. So it's like puddles of wet blood. That'd be pretty dark. The bloodbath is in the sewers. Well, that's the thing. I don't know if there are sewers here. Maybe. I'm like, maybe. Oh, yeah. I like that more. I do like that. Maybe this part of the mine, maybe it's not underground, right? But maybe it is above ground with small. Maybe they're like small mines. Each claim is its own little mine. It is a mountain. I was gonna have it like being like inside under near a mountain kind of thing. But yeah, the bloodbath. So like yeah, the blood would have drained down somewhere. Um, that would have happened. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Maybe they go to a place and they're like, oh, there's this horrible stench coming from that area, and so we don't go over there because it smells bad. And they go there and they see all the dead bodies and like it's maybe it is on like kind of the edge of a lake or a a point of interest there. Yeah. Smells terrible. Smells terrible. Or they go to the point of interest. They see the blood that flowed down to wherever they go, where it smells bad, and they follow the blood up to see where everyone's been killed. Or a lot of people. Dried stream of blood to the action, the scene of the crime. Alright, that's another point of interest. Next, we need... I think it might be fitting starting out as they're entering the area. Like, they get attacked by hares. As they enter, though, they're met with some other... met with the entrance. I guess the entrance is met... Gosh dang it. Met by other prospectors who are leaving, right? So this would be the idea that this could give them the... who are leaving. They just saw... They ran away from a mob of undead. And they came from their claim, right? This I feel like this could maybe point the party in a direction. As they arrive, they meet some people who are running away, and they're like, oh, we're running away from the zombies. They're over there in this claim. And then by the time party gets there, the zombies might not be there. But it also sets a scenario or a thought that there is a roving band of zombies somewhere, right? Which the party may want to avoid. They may want to not engage that, or they may want to hunt them down. That could give them the option. That's my thought here. I don't know if it makes sense or if it's a sound thought. But that's what I'm thinking there. It just sets them up for something, for a start. Then, at that claim... I'm like, is my camera even focused? Sorry. Oh, I'm all blurry. Focus, camera. You can do it. My camera broke. That was gross. That's what autofocus, sometimes you can't trust it. Anyways, their claim. So now I'm going to just start number it. Claim number 1, we'll call it. There are no zombies. Surprise. There is there's a shuffling of feet. Tracks. There are tracks. That's what I should have called them. Heading away from the entrance. The idea being, clearly they can look and see that the zombies went the other way. Do they follow the zombies or do they stay? Who knows? If they follow, maybe they can follow the zombies to other places. To another claim. They go somewhere else. They go... Need another claim. Claim number 2. We have... I'm numbering these because I don't have names. Alright, Rice Combo. Thank you so much for showing me the encounter builder fix. I appreciate that more than you know. Good luck with your game tonight. Next stream is on Monday if you're free. So, but good luck. Enjoy your game and your game prep. I'll catch you next time. We can follow the tracks to the other claim. But they split. They'll have to go two directions. They'll have to go... I need choices. I need something built in here of a decision. We're going to find a... What can I find here? One of these will be a claim under attack. From a single zombie. I think that's simple enough, but then that prospector could know things. What does he know? He's heard of the attacks. That's 6 points of interest. Then if we go... I'm having a brain fart. You got the Brewbuck claim with his buddy. You have the dead claim. Random encounters. The hares could be attacking another claim. I think this means I need to tie in some side quests here to fill this out. I think that is something I need to come up with. Something that people want done in the mines. The main goal is to solve the mystery, debunk the main goal of this. And we're gonna shift gears. I'm gonna just come down here and write main. Whoops, I don't want to go that far down. Oh no. Oh, you know why? You know why? I know why. Because I'm a dummy. I put a page break right here. Put a page break right here. This is fine. Is debunk the superstition, right? Debunk the superstition surrounding the mining area. Which then leads to them to help find Brewbuck. But could also be maybe someone left a family heirloom. Too afraid to go back for it. Right, someone. But now I'm just thinking of side quests. I'm thinking of other things that people in the town could give him to do in that area. That one's very straightforward. It's like, oh, I left in a hurry. I left something back there. I don't want anywhere that involves murdering someone. The idea that you have to go murder someone is a bit much. Maybe they can overhear the... And it's not... So this isn't... Maybe this isn't a side quest, but it's just something they can keep in mind. Overhear that bags of mithril ore was left behind. They just overhear it. So it's not like someone said, do this, but it's kind of like one of those things in Skyrim where you're just walking along and you overhear something and then it turns up on your mission, your quest sheet. Maybe that could be a side quest they overhear. Maybe there's someone in the mines that needs something delivered. That's always a fun thing, is like take something to someone, but then that could be the twist, is like you get there and they're all dead. A bag of provisions comes to a prospector. But he's at the dead one. Ooh, that's actually a good idea. So, that's a side quest, if I ever heard one. They can get that. That gives them a start. You know, gives them a place. Oh, we need to go find this prospector. They go asking about him. Have you seen him? Oh, he's over in that area, but it smells something fierce. They go there. Oh, they find the scene of the death. An abandoned mine, abandoned claim, with a child hiding in a box. In a box. The child can tell them something that he saw. Maybe he saw... or she... her parents went to lead the zombie. So that's like, oh, that's a sad story. That's a sad story right there. Like, just you go to a claim and investigating, there's like a box and you open it and there's a kid in it and they're like, my parents put me in a box and they were going to save me, essentially, from the zombies. But then you don't find her parents. Like, they never came back. That is tragic. Oof. They never returned. This is getting really dark. I need something a little lighter. Oh, man. Oh, I just hit myself. That's... Oh. What's next? Do we go darker? Can we make this even more, a little more extreme? Or do we lighten it up? Should we add a random bard running around through here? Should we add a... No, I need to focus. We gotta focus here. How can they go from... They meet the prospectors leaving. They're running away from a mob of undead, they say. You go to their claim. There's no zombies there, but they do have tracks leading away. With the tracks split up, one of the tracks goes to a claim that's under attack, perhaps. You don't know. The other ones could actually go to another... It could just be a recent thing where you need to... Her parents headed another direction, and maybe you can find her parents. Save parents from two skeletons. If it's like urgent, she could be like, oh, they just left a little bit ago. They haven't come back. They told me I should stay in this box. Which way did they go? Oh, they went that way. Go save them. Or something. Maybe the party goes and saves the parents, and then the parents can know who Brewbuck is. If they're at the one that's under attack, it depends on what they ask. You know, maybe it really depends on what the players ask in each place. One claim could know about the, where the. Oh crap! What was that missing? One player could know about the prospector who was looking for the gear, to be delivered. And another one could know about Brewbuck's claim, which then leads them to his claim where his friend is there, sitting pretty. And then his friend says, oh yeah, he went that way, kind of towards the center, which can lead them to the mining shaft. Is that enough? Is that enough? I think that might be enough for that. Let's shift gears a little bit. We got a little more time in the stream. I think that's good for that. I do need to fill out some more details. That's going to come in just some more detail filling out in the outline now that I have that figured out. I just want to come up with some more side quests that they could do. Mithril was left behind. They might find that in a area. They might find the heirloom in an abandoned mine. Deliver the bag of provisions to the prospector, but he's already dead. That is the one, the little girl saved the child's parents from imminent death. Then they could two, three, four. I want to do six potential side quests that they can ask about. They can also, I want to add one bit in the very beginning, a simple just fight that is like protect the foreman from the angry / drunk prospector. Which that could be set a mood. That could be used to set a mood if they enter the inn and the prospector's getting in the foreman's face and they're like, you did this, you don't care about us, this kind of thing. And then, they have to neutralize the situation. But that also sets a mood. It is a mood. Protect the foreman. Help find Brewbuck is kind of a side quest, but it is kind of not. if they talk to the miners, they will usually be very superstitious. So they might actually know something if the skeletons are carrying elven gear or something like that. The miners could, assume and reinforce the concept that it is a elf necromancer that they're dealing with, and that is why it's haunted or something. They could reinforce that thought into the player's mind, which then would make the twist a little bit more intense, I guess. But then I wouldn't want them to think that once they, what's the word for it? I wouldn't want them to think that the elf necromancer is anywhere but underground. So maybe someone's been seeing things come from underground, and that must be where the elf necromancer is. Let's put that. They could have a claim near the mine shaft. They see things come out. The undead. They see the things come out of the mine shaft. Simple. But they hide. And that's like a clue. That's saying, hey, something's down there. That just reinforces maybe that's where the elf is. Maybe that's where the necromancer is hiding in all this. Brewbuck could just reinforce, like, oh no, you have to go down there now because that was where Brewbuck was last seen. Go down several days ago. AKA, surely he's dead. Yeah. Surely he's dead. Just go. Before the trouble started. They could even blame Brewbuck. They could be blaming him. They could be like, oh, he went down there, and then all this trouble came up here. Surely he messed up. He went down, he found that elf necromancer, and the necromancer knows we're up here now. Surely he's dead. He caused all this trouble. Oh, I like that. Angry people are fun. Yeah. Okay, I'm feeling this now. I'm feeling that area a little better. Feeling a good thing there. Let's give us some homework. So, skills challenge, I need to figure out how to explain that. I will have to write it out better. Write out the basics so I can explain it. Basics. I created some optional side quests. I did that today. I have to do those. I need to flesh out now. Instead of create, I need to flesh out the optional side quests. And then I need to finish filling in the Brewbuck legendary actions and abilities. In addition to that, I need to flesh out Donar Son points of interest. And then I need to, the big one, schedule a playtest. / find players. I need to get at least 4. I need to do 4 players. Level 1. Find a playtest. Schedule it. Oh man, that's going to be a tough one because I have to schedule it and I got to figure out where to play it. I want to record it. I want to record their thoughts on it so that could make more video. It's a lot. Anyways, that has been this live stream we made. I thought we did pretty good. We did a simple 5-room dungeon, which I like the 5-room dungeon ideas. We came up with the Donar Son mine system and how that would work, kind of. And we came up with some good story elements. Like, we got the red herring in there a little bit, where they're going to think it's an elf. It's surely an elf necromancer. Everyone will say that, but it's going to be Brewbuck after all. Corrupt Brewbuck. And we gave myself more homework. I'm now at 5 tasks to do before Monday. The next stream will be Monday, March 9th. Yes, March 9th. Same time, 12 o'clock. We're going to do that. We're going to go over all of this stuff. And I think, what will we be doing? I think maybe we'll turn it into a prep session. I'll just show you how I would prepare to run a unwritten dungeon. Maybe that's what it'll be. We'll call this a playtest prep. Yeah. I think that'll be good to get in the mind of that. And then, ideally, maybe I can schedule the playtest even for Tuesday or even Monday night. And then have a, kind of a report on Wednesday when we come back to continue the live streams. I can have a report and we can have more going on. But I think with all this, it now comes down to writing. I'm going to have to start putting words on paper, which is not my favorite activity, but it's all right. It's what I want to do this month. It's what I want to attempt. I could run this now. As I have it, I could run this whole adventure as a one-shot and be good, because I could come up with stuff. And I think that's what I might need to do to fill in more. But for someone else to run it, this isn't going to work. I want to make something for someone else to run, so I really got to start writing things down. So I'm going to start with the basics. I'm going to start there and probably have another... I'll get, like, the first adventure background written. I'm just going to add this to my homework list. Written. I'm not going to worry too much about formatting. I do have basic formats that I like to use, or like sheets, because I like to have a living document and type less. But I also know that there's going to be problems there, so I have to be careful. I've been Richard Quiner. I just hit my curtain behind me. I appreciate you watching, tuning in. Special shout out to Rice Combo for explaining the D&D Beyond encounter, builder, and combat runner for me. That makes my life so much easier now. Thank you for watching. We will see you on Monday.